Thank you, Jürgen. To be the only artist you know makes it pretty exclusive to being invited to do a creative morning. Well, I need to excuse my pretty rusty English because it's, well, not only the location is rusty, so I feel rusty today, and my English is as well. Actually, the issue of art and technology is kind of, I need to bend it a little over because I need to connect more kind of a mental technique or technology than actual whatever, power-forced electricity thing, steamy computers like we had already this morning, or steamy espresso makers who don't work here because it's the fuses are too low. Actually, we have in an hour kind of a meeting with architects and the Gesobau who gives us this space to rent to actually, yeah, find out how we can kind of enforce the electricity in here. Probably we have another creative morning and then it works. But we hope so, but we don't know really. So I want to introduce myself a little bit. I'm, yeah, well, Else is not my real name, but never mind, I'm called so since 30 years already. I grew up in Halberstadt, what is a small city formerly in the GDR, pretty close to the border. I grew up in times of the Cold War, and this is my first image, and I actually take it almost always into my lectures because of the Cold War, because this horse is kind of one reason for me to become an artist, and I learned a lot about mortality and kind of how things disappear, and even yeah, the disappearance of the GDR has something to do with that. It was melting away, kind of. But on the other hand, I guess it has a lot to do, actually, even what I'm talking about right now, that I grew up in a system which kind of forced me to ask how systems work and how kind of even art or whatever you do can be kind of, yeah, being in the gaps between official meanings and official language and unofficial doings and stuff like that. How language and doing things are two different things. Well, this is, and the backbone is the Christmas tree from my home church, actually. Then I studied in Dresden, actually stage design, but I founded together with some other students a group called the Autoperforationsartisten. We didn't want to call it performance because performance as an art form didn't exist in the GDR officially, and when people came from the West and we would say, okay, this is our definition of performance, then they can easily tell us that it doesn't have anything to do with performance because performance looks different in Western Europe, and we couldn't even kind of prove what performance means in a Western context. And this auto-perforation thing, it's, for me, it's der Daumen der Strafe, and this was kind of a programmatic photography. And this is the group actually, so that you only know where I come from, and that kind of technology is not, well, in a classical matter like you might term it. So this is actually the building we are in right now. So I switched from my own background back to the school I'm teaching in. This is the 7th university I'm teaching, and well, I'm since, well, the first teaching experience was in Los Angeles in '92, '93 at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, together with Mike Kelly and Stephen Preener, very well-known and important artists. And then I became a professor in '97. Then I gave birth to my both kids, and meanwhile I'm in Berlin since 3 years already, and this was actually formerly an atelier for a studio space for the sculpture department. And because we have 2 new buildings on the campus 200 meters from here, it should be given away for good, and I kind of tried already to establish this space as something different than a studio space, because the school wanted to have a gallery space, but they actually were looking at prominent locations like Mitte or Potsdamer Straße or so on, because Weißensee kind of former GDR as well, and we have a cemetery and we have some small gardens here, but it's kind of even staff in the school think kind of, well, it's not the UDK or something like that. So, but actually now with a lot of forces and a lot of power, we could establish it as a kind of a one hand a gallery space. Formerly it was a Kaufhalle, a supermarket after the fall of the wall as well for a few years, and then from 2001 on it is kind of rented by the academy. And this is, well, we are almost one age, this space and me, so this, we look a little different but rusty, like I said before. So this is kind of this founding meeting we had in here in 2010, December, and we, well, in 2 weeks, we posted kind of the invitation for 2 symposiums, and both were kind of well visited and organized. The former rector of the school was there, and the nowadays rector was there, and pretty many people from cultural institutions, Claudia Vaiudi from the city, and so on. So it was really a discussion about what is needed for artists. Is it kind of, or becoming artists or upcoming artists, is it really a gallery space, a white cube, or is it kind of a forum to discuss even strategies, how to create kind of an artistic biography? Because this seems to me kind of an underestimated issue, that it's not only making art, but how something from the studio space, probably paper, cardboard, whatever thing with some drawings on, how does it become an artwork where people are paying for, and how to make your living with it? Like I discussed with Jürgen, it's in the media you only hear from the few 2% probably that made it and are famous and are very well paid. And where are the others? There's a kind of a mainstream you see in between, filling artists. You need to, if you have a huge show, you need 2 or 3 centerpieces with famous artists, and then you need some around that make it even bigger than it was before. So and where are they? And then where are they when they are over 40? Because it's quite the to sleep on the plain floor is funny till you are 35, and then you get probably a few grants. And after 40, it's over, and you get pain in the back and so on, and even no grants are still given. It's only for emerging artists. But where are they? What are they doing? And what makes kind of a successful career for an artist, even if they are not as famous as Guggenheim or MoMA or so on? And well, this was just 1 year ago, the so-called Leistungsschau, because the Bürgermeister, the mayor of Berlin, posted an open call to all the artists. All the artists that make Berlin so glamorous should send in a proposal to apply, to be in a show, to make up or to find out where are they, who are they, and so on. But then there was a huge kind of refusal of most of the artists, because they didn't want to be counted, and even then, yeah, to choose a few for the one and only Berlin show and so on. Based in Berlin is the show that came up with that, and this open call just was disappearing, noiseless, and so we thought, okay, we are doing the real open call, and we really took everything that came into the show. We had 450, 460 artists included in this thing. This is the Blumenstrauß, the flower from the Bürgermeister, from the mayor. And this was how it looked. But there were two things that happened. The first was that with the 450 artists, we had already 450 fans of the Kunsthalle. So, and the other effect was that we had at the opening probably 1,200 visitors and a bar and so on, and we had even more fans of the Kunsthalle, and so this was kind of a marketing coup, something to get people into this location, what is still kind of, it's north of Berlin, it's not Prenzlauer Berg, it's not Mitte and so on, but it's coming, so the rents are already rising, not because of the Kunsthalle, but we are of course part of it. We had different lectures. We had well, even this Leistungsschau we created in a time gap of 4 weeks or something. So with everything, with the first idea of we are doing the real Leistungsschau till the opening, there were only 4 weeks with invitations, with everything. With you needed to yeah, of course, to write down who takes part and what piece is whose piece, and then we didn't even know that we have an insurance here, and so we needed to really yeah, be very aware of whatever, that nothing disappears, because it destroys the whole thing if you have 2 or 3 artists whose pieces are gone or smashed or something. And we had 10 different lectures and discussions in here. Partly we organized it from, we got the lecturer the evening before the lecture took place. So it was kind of really tricky and kind of a real question of power and energy to have it the whole time just ongoing, and even to, well, to suppose that everything works out, even if we didn't really knew if it would really work out. So yeah, this is, well, because as I said, it's just about the different systems. It's less a gallery space, it's a gallery space as well, with very, very different exhibitions, from kind of very famous artists till student projects or even diplomas and things like that. The thing is that I see and I observe over the last probably 15 years that the substance of an art piece disappears more and more, and the different systems of how art is being presented, who presents it, curators, galleries, museums, who is who, and where does a piece needs to hang that it gets into the high price sector. So, and this overgrows the questions of what is an art piece. And well, I don't even, well, it's not about telling this is bad and this is good or whatever. It's more about kind of the awareness about the different system. It's more about that upcoming artists know where they are, in which field, and that it's not, definitely not only the piece that needs to be created, but it is kind of a system of different parts where you need to find your way, or even you refuse to be into this whole thing because you want to be the world a better place, and you need to kind of, you are some better human being not being involved in this. But first of all, you need to know that it is kind of a system where you can strategical find your way in, or even make a project room or something different. And this is, well, the one thing we issue in the next upcoming show, what has a lot to do kind of with the discussions about this year running Documenta, where you can really see how the curator is bigger than all the pieces that are in. And even the curator, Christoph Bakagiev, I don't know the first name, is it? Wurscht. She even told artists what to do, that their piece would fit into the show. It's more kind of an ideological thing than something what issues art pieces in itself. And even the discussion with the two churches that wanted to show Stefan Balkenhol and Gregor Schneider, both very, very famous artists. And the Documenta, the crew just kind of protested against that. And the one church with Gregor Schneider said, okay, we don't do it. And the other one, the Catholic church with Stefan Balkenhol, have the one piece in the clock tower. And this shows kind of very brightly that it's really not about art. It's about strategies and about building careers and about getting the right kind of Seilschaft, whatever, so that you fit yourself into certain systems and into something what is kind of Wertsteigerung. Well, you get it from one level to the other level, even financially, and you can make up your living with that. And this is, we have both artists, Stefan Balkenhol and Gregor Schneider, in the show that is upcoming here. This is, well, it is pretty dark, first of all, but it's in the hall. It's part of my installation. I have it only in here because I got a grant to realize it, and it is already 18 months over the, it's overdue, kind of. So I would have needed to give the money back if I wouldn't realize it. I couldn't make it because I'm so much involved in administration here in the school, so I simply didn't have the time. And so I did it now and told them, okay, I'm showing it in the Documenta. It's my own Documenta, but never mind, they accepted it and I don't have to give the money back. It's called Scheißkünstlerin 2 and issues exactly what I was describing the whole time. And we have in here the 3 UNESCO Sonderschutz signs. They are, well, because the whole thing, strategies, biographies, what is the worth of the art piece and what is kind of all the systems in itself. Deutsches Kulturgut, the German Hager Convention 50 years ago, there was a convention made, and it's all the states are kind of obliged to save their cultural goods somehow. And Germany saves it in form of microfiches that are in certain cylinders and are kind of vacuumized and then brought into the Barbarastollen im Schwarzwald. And there are these 3 signs of the UNESCO, so they are under 1,500 years of, safe for 1,500 years. Every bomb will certainly make another way if it sees the 3 signs, that is clear for good. But, well, we have the signs and we have such a cylinder in here. In the Barbarastollen are nowadays already, I guess, 30 million meters of microfishes. And then it's quite interesting what is chosen to be kind of cultural good. Cultural good is by the Zivilschutz, it's chosen, and they photograph from, of course, the Kölner Dom, the Cathedral of Cologne, but even telephone books from 42 are in this Barbarastollen as well. So this is, and on the other hand, everyone knows where the Barbarastollen is, but there is another kind of Bergwerks tunnel, and no one knows where it is. And there are the patents of the concerns of the industry. So this is the one. Cultural good is nice and fine and telephone books, but the other one is the real one where it all happens, and it's top secret, and no one, only a very few know where it is, and so you already know again that with whatever art you are kind of Trüffelschwein. you are the one that is being seen, and the essence takes place somewhere else, and it's just well, then it is again technology and recipes and things like that. So, well, this is what I can tell by now. Was it 20 minutes or was?
Looking forward to the discussion now.
Yeah.